strong cold front will offer relief to the extreme heat and humidity that we've been dealing with over the past several days. And with the arrival of the cold front, we're going to be dealing with rounds of severe thunderstorms as well. We'll be breaking that all down for you in today's weather forecast, and a tropical system to watch now in the Atlantic Ocean. We're going to be diving into that later on in today's weather forecast. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, everyone. All your weather coverage on this Thursday, August 29th, 2024. And if you are new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below so you have the latest weather information right at your fingertips. All you got to do is subscribe, and I appreciate all the new subscribers out there. We have eclipsed 95,000 subscribers and are on our way now to 100,000, and I couldn't do it without your support, so I appreciate it. Make sure to press the like button, the thumbs up button down below. It helps to get this video out to more and more people. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below as well. We'll get to those after the video. And big reminder, my winter forecast for 2024 and 2025 will be unveiled on Saturday, August 31st. You don't want to miss that, so make sure to turn on all post notifications so you get my videos and or live streams in the future, including this video on Saturday. So let's dive into the forecast here for today, and you can see this is the GOES satellite imagery, and we have a couple of things going on here up to the north into the southern Canadian prairies of Saskatchewan and Manitoba. We have a big spiraling low pressure system, strong cold front attached with it all the way down into the northern and the central U.S. that we're going to talk about, and a lot of tropical moisture into the northwest Gulf that's bringing a lot of rainfall to places like Houston, Lake Charles, and New Orleans as well. So let's look here at our storm reports that did come in from yesterday on Wednesday, August 28th. We had a regional tornado outbreak in the central Dakotas yesterday. 6 tornadoes were reported. We had some scattered wind reports across the east and a landspout tornado as well in western Florida yesterday. So it was a busy day across parts of the United States. This is your 500 millibar vorticity map. What this basically shows is the spin in the lower and mid levels of the atmosphere. And you can see the brighter the color, the more spin there is. So you can see that's up into southeastern Saskatchewan, southern and southwestern Manitoba, and parts of northern North Dakota today. And then that cold front attached with it as well. That could be bringing another threat for severe weather as we go through the afternoon, the evening, and the overnight hours. There is a level 2 out of 5 slight risk in the yellow here for Minnesota, western Wisconsin, and getting down into the Hawkeye state of Iowa. Marginal risk 1 out of 5 in the dark green, extending down into Nebraska, northern Missouri, western Illinois, and then down here into Kansas. And we also have a marginal risk level 1 out of 5 over here into places like Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia, Virginia, and North Carolina as well. The biggest threats we're going to be facing today will be damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, especially up here into parts of the upper Midwest, quarter size hail or larger at times, again, especially up here in the upper Midwest, and a little bit of a tornado potential. We do have a 2% chance of tornadoes today in La Crosse and Duluth. That is in the green shaded color, and then in the brown shaded color, the Minneapolis Twin Cities region up there into central Minnesota, we do have a 5% chance of tornadoes within a 25-mile point of any given location there. So let's walk you through this afternoon. Isolated storm coverage along the front. We're not seeing a lot of that storm coverage quite yet, but we're going to grow that storm coverage once we get towards sunset, and especially beyond sunset, mid to late evening. And we're going to form at least a broken line, if not a squall line, of some showers and storms, a few of which could be severe up here into Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa, and then maybe a couple of those severe down into Nebraska and Kansas. And then that will start to slowly ease off to the east, and we're going to see areas like Madison, Wisconsin, Dubuque, Iowa, Des Moines, and Cedar Rapids start to get in on some showers and storms overnight. This is early Friday morning before sunrise. Those storms, as they move east, though, will fizzle out here and lose their intensity and coverage as we go into Friday morning. Going into Friday, the cold front shifts further east, so the severe weather potential shifts further east as well. Places like Detroit, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Michigan, down into the Toledo area, and Akron and Ohio, back down into Indianapolis, into portions there of Peoria, Springfield, and the St. Louis region there in Illinois and Missouri as we go into Friday. Marginal risk of severe weather. That'll shift further east on Saturday. Buffalo, New York, into the Albany, New York area, down there into Pittsburgh, Scranton, into areas there of Charleston, West Virginia, Akron again, and even portions there of Maryland, into, say, the Baltimore Baltimore area, for example, as we go into Saturday, August 31st to end the month of August. Going through the end of August, here are your additional rainfall totals. A couple hot spots here, one up into the upper Midwest. Into Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa, could be seeing an inch or more of rain there in the orange shaded colors. Same thing over here from New York State down into Pennsylvania, including the Poconos region, down there into West Virginia, and Maryland. And then the biggest hot spot here will be down into the Houston metroplex with all that tropical moisture we're talking about at the beginning of the video. That will extend toward Lake Charles, New Orleans as well, and maybe even the Gulfport, Mississippi area could be seeing rainfall amounts in excess of 2, 3, even 4 inches as we go through Saturday night on August 31st. Let's talk about this cold front, because not only will we be bringing precipitation and rounds of severe weather, but it's also going to bring more of a refreshing air mass from Canada down into the United States as it moves through today, but especially as we go into tomorrow on Friday, and then as it moves a little bit further east on Saturday, August 31st to end the month of August. And let's look at those temperatures this afternoon. Here are your highs into the 90s, all the way up perhaps into southern Minnesota. You can clearly see where that cold front is. Behind it, temperatures in the 60s and 70s. That'll shift further east. You're going to see a difference in the air mass tomorrow in places like Chicago, Milwaukee, Des Moines, up into Green Bay. It's going to be much cooler into the 70s. And much less humidity, so open up those windows. Whereas the Ohio Valley into the Cincinnati area could be close to 100 tomorrow. In Lexington, Kentucky into the mid-90s. Same thing up here into Indianapolis and St. Louis, as the cold front hasn't reached you yet, but then much cooler in those areas as we go into Saturday afternoon. For example, 81 there into Cincinnati, whereas on Friday we're going to see highs at 97. 78 degrees there into the Lexington area, whereas on Friday we're going to see a high of 94, and then same thing there in Indianapolis, 76 on Saturday, whereas we're going to see a high of 95 on Friday. So a much different air mass there as we go into the weekend, heating up a little bit in the Great Plains, but it's really out west. We're going to start to see that ridge build into Labor Day weekend, and that will continue even into Sunday. Look at, we're barely eclipsing the 70-degree mark in places like the Twin Cities or Duluth or Green Bay or Milwaukee as we go into your Sunday afternoon. So a refreshing brand of air, to say the very least. Heading into next work week, this includes Labor Day itself on Monday, September 2nd through Friday, September 6th. Big ridge of high pressure starting to build across the west. The trough is exiting North America across eastern Canada into the North Atlantic Ocean there, and it's still going to leave remnants of cooler air though as we go into the eastern U.S. through much of next week, and much warmer out west, including British Columbia, Canada, Alberta, Canada, Saskatchewan, Canada, and Manitoba, Canada, as well, as going to be well above normal. In fact, 20 degrees above normal will be your temperature anomalies into next week. Let's peek into Labor Day itself. Labor Day morning, Monday morning, we're going to see highs starting, or lows starting off into the 50s across the upper Midwest, and then we're going to start off a little bit warmer into the west there, and then as we go into Labor Day afternoon, Monday afternoon, and you can see we're barely, again, eclipsing 70 degrees in places like the Twin Cities, Des Moines, Chicago could be only into the 67-degree mark on the lakefront there. 68 into portions of Milwaukee, 70, that's it, into the Detroit area, and 75 in Indianapolis. Much warmer, hotter down there into the southeast. Nothing we can't handle. Temperatures in the low to mid 90s, and then heating up again with that ridge further off to the west. Labor Day for precipitation prospects looks pretty dry across most of southern Canada and most of the United States, outside of parts of the eastern Carolinas, Florida, and then down here where we desperately need the rain, especially into West Texas, into the lower Mississippi Valley, and that could be adding up, a quarter, half an inch here. We'll take every drop we can get across these areas because the latest drought monitor did come out, and we're going to show you that here momentarily. But as we go through next work week, you can see much of the Lone Star State down here into Texas is going to see a lot of rain, especially central and southern Texas toward the Rio Grande Valley. Along the Gulf Coast, some more rain for portions of Houston, New Orleans, Gulfport, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, stretching over toward Tallahassee, Panama City, and even down there into the Orlando area of Florida. Very dry in the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, Northeast region. Very dry out west as well through next work week. Now let's look here at your soil moisture ranking, and you can see it's ranking to be one of the driest across portions of southeastern New Mexico and West Texas. Another hot spot up here into Ohio and to West Virginia. Virginia, southwestern Pennsylvania, and a couple more hot spots up here in the Pacific Northwest as well, with your ranking very dry for this time of year. And it's very reflective here on the drought monitor that was released actually this morning. And you can see those 3 hot spots here on the drought monitor, one up in the Pacific Northwest into parts of even western Montana, extreme exceptional drought in those maroon red shaded colors. Same thing down here, extreme exceptional drought for parts of southeastern New Mexico and West Texas, southwestern Oklahoma, a couple areas there in Mississippi and Tennessee, and then another big widespread hot spot of extreme and exceptional drought developing there in southeastern Ohio and into West Virginia. So we need work on that, and hopefully we can get some moisture in short order. And looking here at the tropics, let's take you over to the eastern Pacific Basin real quick. There is a depression, a tropical depression, impacting parts of the Hawaiian Islands over the next couple of days through the Labor Day weekend time frame, only producing 35-mile-per-hour winds. It's moving west at 14 miles per hour, so at least it's not crawling, it's moving. But this could be bringing some heavy rain to parts of especially the northern and western Hawaiian Islands as we go into Labor Day weekend. Another system we can watch is over here in the Atlantic Ocean, and the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida has since upgraded this from a 20% to now a 40% low probability of development over the next 7 days. And the area of concern does include the Windward Islands and as far west as Puerto Rico, so we have to keep an eye on that. That system is right here as I'm circling it, well east of the Windward Islands in what we call the MDR, the main development region. It looks very disorganized right now, but looking over at the ensembles, you look at ensemble models when you're several days out here to get a general picture of where the pressure center could be and everything like that. Let's first look at the GEFS ensemble guidance, and you can see a lot of the members are showing it in and around the Windward Islands and maybe as far west as Puerto Rico by Monday, Labor Day on September 2nd. Looking over at the EPS ensemble suite, you can see maybe a little bit further behind, but still in that general vicinity of the Windward Islands as we go into Monday, September 2nd. And looking now at an operational model called the ICON model, this actually captures this very well in line with both the GEFS ensemble and the EPS ensemble guidance. By Monday, September 2nd on Labor Day, we have a low pressure, possibly even a depression developing down here just to the east of the Windward Islands, and then that crosses over the Windward Islands, and we know the water temperatures in the Caribbean are very, very warm. So by Wednesday, middle of next week on September 4th, well, this could be a formidable tropical storm as it crosses potentially just south of Puerto Rico into the eastern Caribbean Ocean. And looking at those sea surface temperatures in degrees Celsius, you can convert this over. 30 degrees Celsius here into portions of the eastern Caribbean will be very formidable and a very favorable environment for this system to thrive, and especially as it pushes further west into the central and western Caribbean potentially, that could be a system worth watching here as we go through the long-term period. So with all of this taken together, tropical depression probability percentages through the Wednesday timeframe of middle of next week going through September 4th, pretty high out here. We have a 60-70% chance of a tropical depression for parts of the central Windward Islands and as it crosses into the eastern Caribbean Ocean. Now looking here at portions of the tropical storm probability, you can see this is also formidable, knowing that this is still several days out, that we are already up to a 40% chance equivalent there just south of Puerto Rico and into the eastern Caribbean. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on this system, as this system has very favorable dynamics. You have very, very warm sea surface temperatures, very low wind shear, and you have that system really starting to tighten up there. So we're going to keep an eye on it. The next named system will actually be named Francine into the Atlantic Ocean, and we'll be keeping a very close eye on that as we go through Labor Day weekend and into early next week itself. So stick with me here. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for the latest weather information right at your fingertips. Turn on all post notifications so you get my videos, including the 2024-2025 winter forecast that will be unveiled on Saturday, August 31st, 2024. Make sure you don't forget that. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. Like the video, give it a thumbs up down below. I definitely appreciate it, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Thursday out there.